What's your
Rockets,
big keys for this series, and who you got in 7 game series?
man, this is. I don't think it's as easy as people think it is. I hear that the Warriors are like a minus 200 favorite to win this series. Um, and judging by last night, the Grizzlies aren't the greatest defensive team, and they were struggling in stretches.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Rockets. Only thing for the Rockets is uh, their scoring might be a little sporadic with some of these guys. I don't know if they'll be, they can just outpoint the Warriors. Um, but I think they can. I think this will be a good matchup. I think it's going to go at least 6 games. I don't think it's going to go under 6 games. I think Houston's going to show everybody that they're a team to be reckoned with. Not quite ready, but I think they're going to show everybody that they're a team to take serious. I think they win some close games. Actually, I think with their defense and their toughness, down the stretch, they can really pour it on. So, guess a little spoiler alert, but yeah.
What you got, Ron Dog?
So yeah, just like Chuck was saying, this is literally the young guns versus the vets.
Hmm.
And I'll say this, the Rockets do have a good chance of beating them because, like, really, they have to just make Jimmy beat them. If they slow down Curry, make him
Hmm.
shoot his 7 for 17 or something, they can win games like that. They can't let Curry get going because if Curry
Hmm.
gets going, their chances go down because then people start to double Curry.
So for me, obviously the big keys, you got playoff Jimmy, you got Steph. Who else you got? Now, for Golden State, I think they are the more experienced ball club,
Hmm.
Hmm.
but they're not as talented as the Rockets collectively.
Yeah.
I think the Warriors are definitely a little top heavy. I think it showed in their game against the Grizzlies where you had a monster performance from your two big guns and it still went the distance. Like I
Hmm.
don't think you could have now you could have asked Curry to shoot the ball a little bit better,
Hmm.
but he also did really good in the second half. And you got an almost perfect game from Jimmy Butler, aside for some fourth quarter hiccups and some turnovers. You couple all the things together with the great defense that the Rockets have. I just don't think this version of the Golden State Warriors has enough offensively outside
Hmm.
of playoff Jimmy and Steph Curry to propel them without home court advantage, might I add, against a team who is again very good defensively, sound defensively, well coached, and can definitely they don't have to win any game on the road. They can win every game at home, and I'm talking about Houston to win this in 7 games. And like I said earlier, Mike Conley, you are not going to be on the floor. And if you are on the floor, that's barbecue chicken steak dinner
Man,
every time. Whether it's LeBron, Luca,
man,
that's a
come
post
on.
up, you're going to have to double, or you're going to have to sit Mike Conley right here with me. It ain't going to happen. Um, but again, are you going to be able to put Rudy Gobert in the pick and roll action? Like if I'm the Lakers, if I'm Luca, that's what I'm going for. For a Luca pull up three, that's what's going to be required to torch Gobert in that pick and roll action, the pick and pop with a Finney Smith, a Rui, things of that nature. That could again, if he decides to, play up on the screen, you're gonna need your poppers to be ready to, make them pay. Especially your corner threes as well. The last thing I'm gonna say is the 3-2 zone will definitely work against this team if I'm the Lakers. Again, we will be leaving certain people open in the corner, and I'm fully okay with it because I honestly I think the Lakers are just more well equipped to handle a team like the Minnesota Timberwolves. I just think they're lacking in very vital departments. They don't think they're the best 3-point shooting team, albeit they're not far from the Lakers. If I'm just going to be honest, but I think the
Not
Lakers shoot the ball a little bit better, and I think the guys who are going to get those high volume looks or high quality looks, excuse me, on the Wolves will not make you pay as much as the guys on the Lakers. And of course, you got
Mm.
LeBron and Luca and AR. They got Anthony Edwards. Maybe a hot game here and there from Julius Randles, but I don't think it's enough.
I just think for this game, and I'm not going to go long. I just think it's whoever can hit the three from these two teams, and both teams are can be streaky. The luxury the Lakers have is having a Luca, especially early rounds. Luca you sometimes slows down as rounds go on. But you have him, you have Austin Reeves, um, and those guys are going to make a difference. I think that's going to be the biggest difference here is that you got guys that can hit shots and can hit them efficiently. Um, and if they didn't have that, if it was just Luca, if it was just Luca and LeBron, I would feel better saying the Wolves have a big chance of pulling this upset off. But with the way Austin Reeves is playing, I can't because, like I said, who they gonna put on? He's as much as it pains me to say, I got to go Lakers in six. I think it will go six. I think the Wolves will still a couple games. I think they're that good. I think their defense, while not as good as last year, will come through in a couple games, and they'll be able to stifle some of those guys. And I think the Lakers will miss shots. And when the Lakers miss shots, sometimes, they have a tough time, pulling everything back together, especially if the others aren't hitting. And Luca might be off a little bit. LeBron might be off a little bit. He's had some nights where he wasn't hitting like he usually does. So I think they'll get some wins, but ultimately, Lakers in six.
Houston is 7, and I think Sengun is going to be the big X factor. Who you got, D'Lo?
That's gonna be a
You
good
got the
series.
young squad, or you got the old dogs? Golden
Man,
State.
I'm leaning, I'm leaning Houston so bad, but the heart of a champion, I'm gonna go with Houston in 6.
That look to be in the top 10, man. I think we do this, and this is the problem. Like last week, we were talking about how the GOAT debate is kind of pretty much ruining sports talk, right? Because that's all we can. So it seems like we talk more about Jordan in the past than we do the current game, and that's the thing. You got to realize that you have to appreciate the game that's going on now, which I do. For me, the GOAT debate. My first criteria for being GOAT. You have got to be the man. You have got to be the best player in the league at some point, or considered the best, or considered like up there, at least top 5, right? So, but you got to because if you're not the best player in your own era, how can you be the greatest of all time? Jordan had such. I want y'all to understand. For those of us like me, and again, some guys will sit there and say, "Oh, they'll be the Jordan haters." Like, "Oh, Jordan wasn't that good. Jordan had pretty bad games, right? Jordan, it was nice with Jordan. Somebody would I had nice when Allen Houston bust Jordan's ass for my team, for my Knicks. I knew my Knicks was gonna beat the Bulls. I felt my Knicks were a better team every single year, man. I really did, and it just so happened Jordan had to be immaculate, in my opinion, to beat my Knicks. And they got a lot of help from the refs. Let's keep it real. Those of y'all, those of y'all from Chicago, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, as a New Yorker, y'all got a lot of help from the refs. And I don't want to hear about the Hugh Hollins, Hubert Davis shit neither, bro. So, but will say, when you are a favorite or you are expected to do the most, and you falter or your team gets beat, well, you got to take that on the chin as well. And it's not just about numbers. It's not just numbers is another thing that people. Again, LeBron's numbers, his longevity. Unmatched. Unmatched. Same thing with Will. Well, Wilson's numbers were unmatched because he was just far and away better than everybody else. Just physically talented, physically gifted. But again, that's what you're a great player. Go out and dominate the league. Go out and win. So that's the criteria that I pretty much run. Again, when I have a Bird up, I have a Kobe. Well, the way they call contest out and close out back in the day, when y'all say cats from the '90s couldn't shoot, bro, they were like that's so disrespectful, bro. Hubert Davis was an amazing shooter, right? I don't know how much of Hubert's career you watched. He at North Carolina, he was money. In the pros, when the Knicks picked him, I think we picked him in '91 draft or '92 draft. But Hubert was a very important part, piece of our team, coming off the bench. And Hubert was an amazing shooter, bro. Hubert and his uncle, God rest his dead, Walter Davis, who also went to Carolina, was an amazing shooter too. The '90s and '80s had great shooters. It just the game was played different. They shot more mid range. The 3-point line was like nobody just set up to shoot threes back then. So when cats say cats couldn't shoot back then, that's cap. Mahmoud Abdul Rauf could shoot. A lot of cats can shoot. A lot of cute cats had the long range, man. It just so happened that now 3-point is a bigger part of the game. And yeah, Steph Curry and them took it to a whole new level, man. So shit, props to them. But to say that cats from back in the day, those plenty of cats can shoot. And I mean, they do automatic. Yo, Jaws